Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to demystify the complex process of building a website by looking at it as, well, constructing your very own digital real estate. Now, having a website today, it's not just a nice-to-have anymore. It's literally the most powerful tool you have to establish your presence and your credibility online. Whether you're a local business owner stepping into the modern age or a freelancer building up a portfolio, a website puts you on the global map. But let's be real, the underlying mechanics can feel completely overwhelming. It's incredibly confusing when developers start throwing around all this technical jargon and endless acronyms, right? You're just left nodding along wondering what they actually mean. Well, consider this explainer your ultimate translator. We're going to strip away that intimidating tech speak and treat this exactly like a physical construction project.
So, to kick things off and really frame our journey today, we have to ask ourselves, what does it actually take to build and secure a digital home? We're going to follow the whole journey, from buying the empty lot of land to putting in the essential plumbing, all the way to finally installing a robust security system and opening the front door to your very first visitors. It's a structured process, and you know what? When you look at it sequentially, the mystery completely disappears.
Okay, here's our blueprint for today. We're going to start with the anatomy of a website, then move right into the blueprint and design. After that, we'll build the engine, lock it down with essential website security, and finish up by preparing for launch.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, Anatomy of a Website, the plot and address.
Just like a physical house needs a street address for visitors to actually find it, your digital home requires a domain name to direct traffic on the internet. This is that unique URL you type into your web browser. Now, ideally, a domain name should be short, catchy, and highly related to your brand. It's the very first thing your visitors interact with, so choosing the right address is absolutely crucial. A really great practical tip when you're picking a domain, try to avoid using hyphens or numbers. You want an address that's incredibly easy for people to remember when they hear it spoken out loud in normal conversation. Because if you have to spell out number 4 hyphen business, well, you've already lost potential visitors before they even try to knock on your door.
Next up is web hosting, and you can think of this as the literal land your house is built on. It's the physical server space where all your website's files actually live. Because every single image, every line of text, and every video needs a physical place to sit out there in the real world. So when you purchase web hosting, you're essentially renting space on a secure, high-speed server. And listen, good hosting is absolutely vital. It directly impacts your site's load speed and overall reliability. Going with the absolute cheapest bargain bin hosting might seem like a smart business move at first, but honestly, it's like building your dream house on a swamp. If a massive wave of traffic hits your site and your cheap server can't handle the load, your site crashes, which means the road to your house is completely washed out right when people are trying to visit.
Now, what's really cool is how we can cleanly break down the technical building blocks of your digital home into 3 main parts: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Think of HTML as the framing and backbone. It provides the core structure, organizing your paragraphs, headings, and images. Then you have CSS, which acts as the paint, the landscaping, and the interior design. It controls your colors, your fonts, and page layouts. And finally, JavaScript brings the whole house to life. It acts as the moving parts, enabling dynamic features like interactive pop-up menus, smooth animations, and real-time content updates. Together, these 3 elements work in total harmony to create the comprehensive environment your user experiences the exact second they walk in.
Moving right along to Section 2, the blueprint and design, planning your space.
So the crucial point here is that before you write a single line of code or lay any digital bricks, you must meticulously plan the groundwork. You need clear objectives, and you need to know exactly who you're building this for. Are you looking to sell products directly, showcase an expansive portfolio, or maybe share educational information? Who specifically is your target audience, and what exact problems are you solving for them? Checking out what works, and critically, what doesn't work on competitor websites, gives you a massive advantage before you ever break ground. It lets you learn from their expensive design mistakes. I mean, if their site feels cluttered or confusing, you know precisely what to avoid in your own blueprint.
Just like arranging physical furniture to create a good flow, planning your user interface and user experience ensures that when visitors arrive, they feel welcomed and can intuitively navigate your space without any frustration. This usually involves creating wireframes, which are basically low-fidelity blueprints determining where your images, blocks of text, and call-to-action buttons will actually live on the page. Because if a visitor can't find what they need within just a few seconds of arriving, they're going to bounce. And bouncing in the digital world is the exact equivalent of a customer walking into a messy, disorganized retail store, getting completely overwhelmed by the clutter and just walking right back out the door before they even talk to a salesperson.
Okay, let's head into Section 3, Building the Engine, the Digital Plumbing.
The architecture of your site is split into two massive components. First, you have front-end coding, which is that beautiful facade your visitors see and interact with every day. The front end is all about that HTML, CSS, and JavaScript we talked about earlier. But behind the walls, you have back-end development. This is the hidden machinery powering the entire house. It processes e-commerce transactions, securely stores user data in complex databases, and communicates directly with the server. Your visitors will never ever see the back end of your website, but it is the critical digital plumbing and electrical wiring. If the back end breaks, the lights go out, the water stops running, and the whole house effectively shuts down.
Now, to make managing all of this back-end complexity completely seamless, a content management system, or CMS, acts as your master control panel. Systems like WordPress or Shopify give you a highly intuitive, user-friendly dashboard to publish blog posts, upload new product lines, or swap out seasonal images on the fly. You don't need to be an expert coder at all. Think about what a game changer this is. 10 years ago, you had to pay a developer hundreds of dollars and wait days just to change a single sentence on your homepage or update your store hours. A CMS literally democratizes the entire web building process, saving you immense amounts of time and putting the power and your wallet squarely back in your own hands.
Which brings us to Section 4, Essential Website Security, Locks and Alarms.
Here is an alarming reality we have to face. Cyber attacks on websites are up 400% since 2020. Having robust security is absolutely non-negotiable for any small business or independent creator. The FBI has actually reported thousands of cyber attacks happening every single day across the globe, and they aren't just targeting massive corporations anymore. Bots are constantly scouring the web looking for easy targets. If your site handles any customer data, collects email addresses, or processes payments, leaving that digital front door unlocked is just a recipe for absolute disaster.
There are several specific villains trying to break into your digital home. SQL injections happen when hackers use malicious code to trick your database into handing over highly sensitive customer info, like plain text passwords or credit card numbers. Then there's ransomware, which is exactly as scary as it sounds. It can literally lock you out of your own files and hold your entire business hostage until you pay a hefty fee. Cross-site scripting, or XSS, targets your users directly by secretly injecting harmful scripts into their browsers while they're visiting your site. And finally, DDoS attacks. These work by flooding your site with thousands of fake bot visitors all at once until your server simply collapses under the weight, taking your business completely offline.
So your absolute first line of defense against all of these threats is an SSL certificate. It encrypts data passing back and forth so that nobody can intercept sensitive customer information. You know a site has an SSL certificate when you look up at the URL bar and see that little padlock icon, and the web address starts with HTTPS instead of just HTTP. That S literally stands for secure. It scrambles the data passing between your visitor's computer and your server, rendering it into total gibberish to anyone trying to eavesdrop on the connection. And beyond just basic security, modern search engines heavily penalize sites that don't have this padlock, burying them deep in the search results just to protect users.
To keep the alarms fully armed at all times, you must proactively implement a few core best practices. First off, maintain regular automated offsite backups so you can always restore your house to its original state if the absolute worst happens. You also need to practice what security experts call the principle of least privilege. That simply means you only give people the minimum administrative access they need to do their specific jobs. Your freelance blog writer does not need the master keys to your payment processing and service settings, right? Additionally, always change default settings, like standard admin usernames, because automated bots are looking for those easy targets first. And finally, ruthlessly enforce complex passwords and multi-factor authentication for anyone attempting to log into the back end of your property.
All right, we're in the home stretch. Section 5, Preparing for Launch, the Final Walkthrough.
Before you open your doors to the public, you need a strict, uncompromising launch checklist. Test every single link on your site to ensure there are no dead ends. Test every contact form multiple times to make absolutely sure those messages actually reach your inbox. Check the site on your phone, your tablet, and your desktop computer. Why? Because search engines now heavily favor mobile-friendly designs, and a huge portion of your traffic will be tapping on a small screen.
You also want to optimize your SEO headers, like your H1 and H2 tags, and run your entire site through a speed tester. Even if the house looks beautiful, a slow-loading site will cause impatient visitors to leave before the front page even fully renders.
Once your doors are actually open, setting up analytics is like installing a secure monitoring system that tracks exactly how many visitors are walking through your digital front door and exactly what they do once they get inside. Tools like Google Analytics and Google Search Console let you see where your traffic is geographically coming from, which pages are capturing the most attention, and how long people are choosing to stay in your digital home. Are they reading your blog but completely ignoring your store? Are they leaving after just 5 seconds? Listen, this data is pure gold. It takes all the guesswork out of the equation and allows you to continuously improve and refine your website over time. Well, we've reached the end of our explainer, so I want to leave you with a final thought to spark your next big step. Your digital home is completely built, the plumbing is connected, and the locks are firmly set. But who will you invite in first? Building a website is an incredible, empowering journey of taking an invisible plot of digital land and turning it into a thriving, highly secure hub for your ideas, your business, and your community. And honestly, the tools have never been more accessible than they are today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope this gives you the absolute confidence to go out there and start laying your very own digital bricks.